Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to listen to another episode. This week I really have channeled my inner hippie and talk about the miles that I've run, in the shoes that I've ran them in, the reconnection of my soul and mind, and just a load of fluffy, lovely, nice, non-serious stuff. So I talk about all that this week. As I am talking all about it, you will hear it is absolutely chucking it down. I don't have fancy equipment. I don't even know how to work the equipment that I have. So if you do choose to listen to this, please forgive me. I cannot control the weather and the rain hitting off the tin roof. But have a listen. Please do enjoy. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you're liking what you hear, please get involved with me on our YouTube channel, the Mark Gallagher Hard Stuff Podcast. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the white bell on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. Hard Races. Like us, follow some of the stuff we're doing. Keep posted for some of the events that we're going to be hosting. And yes, I hope you enjoy. I hope you get something from it, and all the best. So as you know, I changed the name of the podcast to the Mark Gallagher Hard Stuff Podcast. All revolving around a new project I'm working on, Hard Races. We haven't had a race yet. I'm organising races. But it's got me thinking more and more. A couple of things about the place we live and just how beautiful it is, about how much is involved in it and how little credit people actually get for events that I've been to and they've put on in the past, and just where it all could go. So anybody that follows any type of trail running or ultra running or multi-stage races, it's only the big ones, that really get credit. So you've got the likes of the Western States 100, Hard Rock 100, you've got, the Moab 240, these big, really, UTMB, these big, beautiful races and beautiful places, or these vast places with nothing in them. And it's then got me thinking, it's got my back up a bit, because I'd be quite patriotic and I would say that the country that we live in is the most beautiful country in the world. Hands down. Don't care if you get upset with me, but it is. And there's not enough celebration of it. So like I say, I keep rambling on about it, but the one fantastic, beautiful race that I done was the Connemara 100. One of the nicest parts of the world. I've been to some nice places in the world, and it's if not it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I was thinking about it, and the guy, Ray O'Connor, who organises the race, he puts on a cracking race. It's well looked after. His maybe thinking of it is, you're out there, you're on your own, you've got your crew, and that's it. Get on with it, get the miles done. And it's a smashing race, and ultra running as a sport is up and coming. You look at America and there is swarms of people. Now America is huge, obviously, but there's swarms of people from states. So a state would be probably the size of Ireland, if not bigger. But there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And yet in Ireland, a big ultra running event is 60 to 100 people. And there's just no justice in it. There is just no justice in it. I would say there's the bodies out there, and there's the people and the minds and the souls that want to run to test themselves. They just don't know about it, or they're just not screaming loud enough about the beautiful places this country has to offer. And that's what I've been scratching. I put out a post the other day about dream races. If you could pick anything, any race or any part of the world you'd love to do a race where would it be? And obviously part of the attraction of an ultra run is how much of the venue or the city or the town, county, state, whatever it may be, you get to see in 24, 30, 48 hours, whatever the race of the length of the race is. And imagine that. I mean, that is a selling point for people almost, you know. Come here and see the whole thing, have a life-changing experience, and better yourself, test yourself, find out stuff about you that you didn't know, meet people, have wonderful conversations. There isn't any bad stuff that comes out of it. Yes, there's pain, and that's, I suppose, what people don't like, or that uncomfortableness of it. But my goodness, I can't think of anything more romantic than going to Achill Island. Achill Island, anybody that doesn't know, Achill Island is an Irish-speaking island off the coast of County Mayo. It's on the west coast of Ireland. And there's a causeway leads you over to Achill Island, and Achill Island has the most beautiful beach in the world, Keem Bay. It's famous. You'll see pictures of it. It is stunning. It would easily, hands down, beat anywhere, I'm convinced of it, anywhere in America, Western States, Leadville, whatever. This is the most stunning beach on the most stunning island on the most stunning coastline in the world, and there isn't a race, an ultra race that takes in the whole thing or lets you get totally submerged in the island or the culture. Causeway, you know, Giant's Causeway. You have Wicklow Hills. I suppose there is on the Wicklow Hills. You do have races, but again, they're not sung about enough. And that's kind of the not the frustrating thing. What I'm learning as I'm trying to promote a race is, like, you have all sorts of stuff to sing about. It just doesn't seem to be people picking it up. You know, how come in one part of the world where I think they have less beauty in the world and people are flocking to it, whereas we have the most beautiful place in the world and yet people aren't flocking to it to soak it up. Not only that, but we have probably the best recovery centres in the world. Pubs, we are littered with them, serving the best protein shakes you'll ever get, a creamy pint of Guinness, and I just can't get it. There needs to be more of it, and I think that's what I need to start singing about, or get my megaphone and get out there and promote. But yeah, this week my mind has been racing with beautiful places that I would love to run myself, and that I would love to host an event to see more, and just to see what people get out of the beauty or the mistake of the place. You know, how connected they can be with the whole world. Yeah, I'm turning into a bit of a hippie with all this ultra running, but it really is. It's good for the soul, like, and I think more and more people should bite the bullet and go for it, and sign up for those races or sign up for those events, and let the bit of adventure in them come out and explore and see. There's only good things out of it. There's only good things that can come out of it. And I hope to God 2021 allows it to happen. I'm certainly pushing for it. I have a load of stuff on my hit list. I have a load of things other than... So the way I'm looking at it is, there's races where you're soul searching, where the place that you run plays a big impact on what you want from the race. So my whole idea about racing isn't to win races, because I'm not fast enough, and it's just not about that for me. For me, the draw of a race would be its location. and that feeling of adventure, you know. So Connemara was amazing for it because it was so vast and open. You could just get lost in it. And for me, everything was brand new. I'd never been there. And it was my own mini adventure. Me on my own, you know, disconnected from everything and out in the big bad world, but the beautiful world, and soaking it all up. So there's that element of it, where if I'm wanting to do a bit of soul searching to find myself and to reconnect and kindle a spirit, I want the location. I want the most beautiful location, and Ireland has those in abundance. If I wanted gut-wrenching pain and endurance and grind and toughness and to be snarling, you know, we hit the mountains, and all of a sudden there's the Wicklow Hills, there is the White Bear Triathlon, the Ulster Way, where you're half trail, half road. We have it, like you have it, you know, we have it all here. And I think that's my plan. This started off one thing in my head where I wanted to get events, but that has sparked the interest, is that I should work for the tourism office, because I'm going to have a whole subsection on Visit Ireland to run around beautiful places. There's so much they offer, and we're really not singing about it enough. So that's my new goal, is to sing about the place that I live, and to promote it as much as possible. If some people turn up, that'd be great. But let's hope that lots of people can turn up, and they can find themselves, they can reignite their passions, they can talk to someone, they can be heard, they can listen, they can shut off, they can get lost. Only good things. Only good things can come of it. So, it is winter. It is definitely winter out there. It's some week for running. It has been freezing. Absolutely bitter cold. I live in a part of the world which is just on the back of a hill, a place called Mollusk, and it has its own climate. Anybody from Northern Ireland will tell you it is the coldest place in Northern Ireland, but it's home. But my goodness, it has been bitter cold for the past while. Freezing. But there is something really nice about it. The other morning I put up a post about the frost under your feet, and just that crunch. And there is something about that. There is something about it that does make you feel like you're doing a wee bit more, or you're enduring a wee bit of toughness. You're outside, it's bitter cold, and you get that feeling that you're the only one out doing it, and it's great. But I love it. I absolutely love it. The great thing is, it has been cold, but there's been no wind, and it is fantastic. I'm actually really enjoying getting out, and so does the rest of the world, I suppose, at this moment in time. Lockdown 3. Fed up with talking about lockdowns, but this is it. We didn't think we'd be talking about another lockdown whenever we started the first one in March of last year. But if anything, running, the sport of running, or recreational running for fitness, has benefited from a lockdown. People that it would have been their last ditch or last resort exercise, it's now their go-to. The thought, even for me, I know fine well that if I go to a CrossFit gym, I love doing a workout, I love loading the bar up, I love using the dumbbells, I love using the equipment, and that group exercise, it benefits me. Doing it in my house, doing burpees in my front room at 6 o'clock in the morning, just isn't cutting it. it has to be done. I'll do it. I will do it, and I have been doing it. But there just isn't that same excitement or same level of competition with it. But running, I love running on my own. I love it. I've actually got to the point now where I love running with no distractions. Actually, I even loved going out. This is how much I love being on my own with running. I love running now to the point where I leave my phone behind because we're attached to the things. Absolutely attached to it, and I almost need that disconnect or switch off from it. So now I leave my phone at home unless I'm out in a club run and I had plans to get photographs or do whatever, something with it. But for the most part, if I'm running by myself, I am isolated. I am switched out of the matrix. I don't have my phone on me. I even love going out without a house key. I love just literally a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, a jacket if needs be, and just going. There is something about it being free of any attachment to anything. It's as if you've zero responsibility. All you have to do is run. You don't need to worry about your house because you don't have your keys on you. You don't need to worry about who's going to call you, what emails you're missing. You're detached from it. It's all waiting for you whenever you get back, and that's what I am loving at the minute. That's my new vice, or that's my new thing, or my new secret, or my new, I don't know, my new thing to keep my head right and to stop it from losing the plot and spinning out of control. That wee bit of isolation by myself, totally alone, and as silly as it sounds, just even the house key is a big one. The house key is a big one. You always have it on you. You know, I leave the house at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. My house keys are on me. I've got keys. I'm constantly attached to something. I've my phone on me. I'm constantly attached to that. Just that disconnect of just me. It's just me out in the world. If anybody was to try and get me, they're going to have to either run to get me or drive in a car if it's super serious, or try find me. I'm out on my own. I'm in the world. Feel like a caveman. No one's about to talk to you. You're on your own. You've fuck all technology other than the fancy pair of rubber-soled shoes you've got on your feet. And it's bliss. I just love it. Didn't know I could love leaving the house without anything so much, but I do. I love it. I don't know if anybody else feels the same. But yeah, even the key's the big one. But everybody else, where I live, the running route for where I live passes my house. Everybody passes it. There's the regular runners who you would see. There's the ones that are always out. They're almost their set time each day, and they've been out and they've been doing the biz. And you now have the lockdown runners, and I'm all for it. Fair play to the lockdown runners, getting in the lockdown miles, just out doing their biz, getting the miles in, and fair play to you. But my thought being that lockdown has done great things for the sport of running, but the sport of running isn't doing great things for people in lockdown. For the reason being, running, athletics, it's always revolving around races, winning or fast times or whatever. There's very few just promoting it just to get out there and just to do it. Now the people are out doing it, and I've talked to some people about running, and they're like, oh, I hate it. Whereas now, I'm talking to them, they're out doing it during lockdown, and going, jeez, I can't believe how clear my thoughts are, how free my mind is while I'm doing it, how much I love it. I forget how much I love doing it. And that's not celebrated enough. That out of the house, clear your mind, bit of you time. You can go on your own, you can go with your music in your ears, you can catch up on something. It's you time. And that's the bit of running that needs to be promoted more, not the super competitiveness of getting fast or getting in a certain miles or whatever. That's fun for those who are into that. But the people who just love it as a means of, or people who don't even realise they love it as a means of just keeping themselves on the straight and narrow, lockdown is doing a lot for running for those people at the minute. But yes, yeah, it's running's going well at the moment. I am getting out back into a routine myself. I'm still trying to get the miles back up to where they were pre-training for Connemara. And I'll be honest, my body is looking forward to getting back into those miles too. I feel like I have piled on about 2 stone in weight. Now, I'm training, I'm eating well. It is just unbelievable how, once you get to a point in running, how well running just maintains that weight off you. It's a maintenance tool more than anything. I think you have to go outside the box and you have to you have to run in a certain way to lose weight. But once you're at that weight, the miles, it's the best maintenance tool. Well, that's all I can put it down to as well. The best maintenance tool, more so than any other exercise out there for keeping the beef off. Because Jesus, I feel the beef has went on. Christmas didn't help either. I ate like a demon. There was just sweets in the house. There was boxes of sweets. There was boxes of chocolates. My wife came home pre-Christmas. Now, in fairness, it was great. But pre-Christmas with a trifle. I'm the only person in the house that eats trifle. And it was lovely. Sherry trifle. And the custard was great. Marksy's finest trifle. And I ate it in 2 sessions. It had to be ate before Christmas. My wife got the only trifle on the build up to Christmas that had to be ate on Christmas Eve. I didn't even know they made those. They didn't even. Why on earth would you go to all that trouble of making a trifle if it has to be ate before Christmas Eve? But I devoured it. I was like an animal. And I was eating at it, and eating at it, and eating at it, and it was great. And we also had cheesecake. And we also had ice cream. And we also had mince pies with extra thick brandy cream, and Jesus Christ, my waistline has suffered for it. Now, it was delicious at the time. If you were to put it in front of me right now, I would devour it again. But we're back on the straight and narrow. We're trying to get the miles up again. And yeah, but the thing is, I could eat all that and I could stay at the same weight from doing the miles, but if I need to get the weight off, I need to bust my hole with running, PT, sessions, just to sweat it out. So that's my plan at the minute, is to get down the weight to help my knees more than anything. I would say I'm a good 1.5 stone overweight at the moment for what my knees can endure for doing the miles. So that's my plan at the minute, is running just to keep myself in check and to lighten the load on my knees, and hopefully we'll get there in the next load of weeks. Right, trainers, goodies, shoes, clogs, whatever you want to call them. People will tell you whenever you start running, it's an inexpensive sport, that you don't spend any money. All you need is a pair of shorts, pair of trainers, and a t-shirt, and off you go. Bollocks. It becomes all of a sudden one of the priciest sports you can imagine. But I have tried to turn it on my head, and I tell you the reason why I wanted to talk about trainers is, on my Strava account, I've put in the type of shoes that I'm wearing, and without me even knowing, they have obviously kept a tally of however many miles I have done in these shoes. And it came up the other day, and it just was a surreal thing to see, as it's not something you really think about or you can actually put a number on. But but it said that I've done over 1,000 miles in my shoes. And it then got me thinking, I couldn't tell you any pair of shoes that I've had in my lifetime that I have done over 1,000 miles in. It then brought me back to thinking about where those shoes have taken me and what I've done in them and how they came to be. So the shoes in question, for anybody that is watching this on YouTube, it's these. My plan today isn't to tell you all about the fancy soles and the ins and outs of them, because really and truly I haven't a notion. But these shoes here that I have in my hand, I've probably never spent as much on a pair of running shoes in my life. I went on the internet and searched and nerded it out for these to see if I should buy them. And initially I didn't. I went with a competitor. I went with a competitor's shoe, and in the competitor's shoe is the time that I ran the 24-hour run at the front of my house. And for anybody that doesn't know me, I have broken my feet countless amounts of times. I used to do taekwondo, and breaking your feet, unfortunately, it is just part of the game. I just had fragile, brittle feet and could never ever really go a season or a couple of tournaments without then wrecking my feet, to the point where they just went black. They swole up like a bop, wouldn't fit into my shoes. You're walking like you pooped yourself for however many weeks. So I thought all that was behind me. Wasn't even a consideration whenever I was buying running shoes. So obviously bought a competitor's shoe, actually bought 2 pairs of them. I went to the shop, said these are the ones for me, I've done my research, can I get a wee quick 5k on the running machine and we'll see if they're good to go. Done the 5k, lovely. They're a lovely pair of shoes, they're like running on clouds, they're fantastic. I'm Billy Big Balls, give me 2 pairs because I'm an ultra runner and I wanted everybody to know that I was doing an ultra run. Gab shade, I know. But I bought the shoes quite easily. Within 2 or 3 runs, I really should have said these aren't for me. They were horrible. But again, I'm as thick as shite. I kept running in them, kept going in them, decided to do a 24-hour run in the shoes that were killing me. Started off in them, I think I got 30 miles in them, took them off because my feet were bollocks. 30 miles. A couple of ibuprofen later, different pair of shoes, an old pair of shoes, ones that I bought at the very start when I was about 4 stone heavier in the shop, and the guy was like, these are made in a shipyard, you'll be able to run about the place in them, your big arse won't buckle them. So put those on, they were like running in bricks, but a drastic improvement compared to the other shoes. Again, I'm thick. Decided to put the shoes, the ultra shoes that I had bought, back on again. I think I got the 60 miles and was 100% certain that both my feet were broken again. Every step was agony. Anybody that hasn't broken their feet, it starts off a sharp pain, then it is just a dull, constant ache. The swelling, you don't have room to move, your feet swell up that much, you can't feel your toes moving, you can't feel any bones moving. It's horrible. Toes go black, feet swell up, you're in a bad way. Still had a load of hours to go in this. So, like I say, stupid, thick, ended up finishing the run anyway, wearing different pairs of shoes. Then decided, right, you need to take this serious. You've got Connemara coming up. You can't run like that. You can't have your feet broken. So, give myself a couple of weeks off. let my feet recover. In the meantime, I bought these. Now these had technology on them like I did not know. At the bottom of them, it's like your toes are all splayed out and it looks like your foot at the bottom. It's for people with fat feet, like me. But I have to say, as far as stories go with a pair of shoes and a pair of running shoes, these are hard to beat. These shoes, I've put in some of the hardest runs ever. These shoes, I think my feet were still broken, and these shoes allowed me to keep on going with broken feet. They were that good. They allowed me to keep on going. They actually got me to a point where I thought I was going to have to cancel a race, and these shoes gave me a new lease of life to keep going through it. I was then able to do some of the longest runs ever in these shoes, and then I was also able to do the Connemara 100 in these shoes. But then you just think about some of the business ideas you've had, about some of the ideas for the club, some of the people you've been talking to, some of the laughs you've had. 1,000 miles in a pair of shoes. So I sell cars, and obviously part of selling a car is, or what makes a car more valuable or less valuable, is how many miles it has done. When you speak to people and they come in and say, oh, it's been a great car for me, I bought it with X amount of miles, it's now been around the moon twice, and it's still going. Well, these are my been around the moon twice and still going shoes. And I couldn't just get over it. Like, it's just to put a number on it, and just the amount of, like I say, conversations, crack you've had. You don't ever think about what's took you there. That Forrest Gumpy, Mama said these shoes would take me anywhere, but they have. And yeah, never ever thought that I would be having a conversation in a tin shed with the rain pelting down, telling everybody on YouTube about a pair of shoes that I've done 1,000 miles in. But I thought that they needed a mention. Like I say, it's the worst shoe review you will ever hear. I haven't even mentioned the name of the shoe or its competitor or any of the technology that's in it, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't a clue. It's for people with fat feet that do long runs. I would recommend them to anybody if they want a wee story to tell in 1,000 miles. So there you go. I'm not even going to tell you the name of them. My shoes. They've done 1,000 miles.